Hi, everybody. Is everybody, how's the audio? Can everybody hear me? Okay, great. Um, well, let's see, it's 12 noon on Monday, August the 17th, and we didn't get to the morning commentary because Marilyn had a technology meltdown this morning, so I had some charts giving me fits. So anyway, I hope everybody had a good morning. It looks like there were some possibilities. The day before the roll on crude oil is, or before as it is occurring, you really need to pay attention. And if you are new to trading crude oil futures and that's what you're doing in live, I would suggest you give it a couple of days until after the roll to let everything shake down, because what is happening is this is a commodity that has a lot of people buy these futures, not people but companies buy these futures to take delivery. So this is a deliverable commodity like gold is, and we're the little people in here that trade our little, 1 and 2 contracts. But some of these people, as you can see, there have been some block orders coming through on the time and sales of 25 contracts, and then pretty soon, or right with it, you'll see 25. That could very well be an order of 50 that somebody's broken up into 2 orders to make it a little more palatable to get fills. So these are the times you have to be a little concerned about that, or at least aware of it. Right now, the September crude oil is trading with a volume of about 170 some contracts, and with 3 days to go, it will completely stop trading in 3 days. But of course, one of the reasons it's going to stop trading is because the only people holding those contracts are taking delivery on them. So the October, which is where we're going next, is around 110,000 contracts. So as this, I am looking at before the Globex close this afternoon at 4 o'clock on this. This will probably have made a significant transition. So be ready tomorrow morning. We'll go to October. I'll double check that just to be sure, because we do not want to be in the contract that has the least amount of volume. This is a case where you always want to follow the money. You have absolutely no control over the market. So you just want to get on the bus driver with the bus that's going the direction you want to go. And he's going to drive where he wants to drive. So this morning, if you haven't been keeping up with our little morning sessions, we try to get a fix on what to expect for the day. And we had very early in the day and late yesterday, because crude oil does trade late Sunday afternoon internationally. I mean, this is a global commodity. So we had our apex setups here. We got the first red E right here, and then we had a this would be the apex classic trend is changing to southbound, and then these are 2 add-on spots right here at this ice line, our red ice line. We had an MVP arrow. We had these red E's. Everything was lining up. The problem is you needed to be up and at 'em either late last night or early this morning, which kind of let me out, that's for sure. I wanted to call your attention to something that I think is very significant. If you recall, last week we made a big deal out of this 4285 magnet. This was the low of crude oil for the last 5 or 6 years. It is a hugely significant price level. And guess what our green ice line happens to be this morning on Monday. This is all just amazing how it all, I mean, we didn't know what the Monday ice line was going to be, but these are very significant price levels. Frankly, I am clueless how anybody could trade without these magnets and the, I'm having more and more respect for these ice lines. These are really valuable. So it's been in a range between these institutional volume zones, and we're becoming more familiar with how to use these. So this morning, if you were looking for an entry, unless you were up in the middle of the night, you could have taken this 630 right off of this. This is a major magnet, and because it's a cream colored one, it's an old one. The new ones for this week are up much higher and much lower, so we'll see them as the market changes, if it does. But to take this from right here, we were below settlement, below the red ice line. We had red E's and red MVPs, and this tried to put in another E, but it had a green MVP. And you can trade these, but just be aware and try to understand where you are in the apex land here. But that would have gotten you, I don't know, from about 15 down to first place would be about 90. So that's a 25 tick run down to the next magnet. And if you stayed with it down to the deviation level, it's even better. Then as this comes off, you could have taken this right here, would be an aggressive entry, but you could have done that. Your RSI was pointing up and kept going. This is a good spot to check your 6 tick also, and see what your trend catcher over here would be offering you at that time too. Right here below this, but this could have been a much more aggressive entry if you're familiar with how to use this system. But from down here right to the red ice line, certainly you'd want to be getting out here or protect your profit significantly. And back down, it just simply goes from one to the next to the next. Where you get into a problem is when it's making up its mind to do something different, and that's what happens right here. If it's going to do that, it will do it around a significant price level, and certainly this red ice line is one. So we'll see what happens this afternoon. I'm expecting more transition out of the September contracts into the October, and when that happens, people start selling their September in order to buy the October, and contract selling and selling and selling and selling tend to make this go down a little bit into the close. But then you'll see the ones, if you're looking at October, they are going to do exactly the opposite. And it's just a shift. It's a shift of where the money's going. That's what we want to do, is follow the money. So I will be back at 2:30 and we'll see what the market has brought us for the afternoon. If you are looking for a long position here, I would suggest you be real careful. Watch this 30-minute. This may put in another red candle, but right around 1 o'clock, 12:30 or 1. If this starts going the other way, then it may go on up here to 42.85. All right. So I will see you later. And Arthur, I see your question in here. Let's see. Check the 6 tick. No, Arthur, that 6-tick chart is up there. In a very slow market, it makes a much easier to read trading chart. Keep in mind, 6 is half of 12, and we're using a 12-tick chart down here. So that means things are going to happen twice as fast on this 6-tick. In a fast market, this thing will run away from you so fast it'll make your head spin. But and definitely we'd be using the 12-tick. But when it's so slow and the bus driver is drying paint and it is taking forever to do anything, this is, to me, is real easy to see on this 6-tick right here. That's just, Leah is the one that said, boy, she really has studied this and learned how to use that. And I think it's easier than some of these bigger candles. But keep in mind, it depends on the volume of the contracts and how fast this market's moving. Okay? So any other questions? Usually after 2:30, I've got plenty of time. But we'll all try to get some lunch while the bus driver messes around for a little while. So I'll be back at 2:30. Thanks.